I'm Susie Daggett, and with Machin McDonald and Corian Reed and myself, we are Red. We are co-co-cos of the Nevada County Online. May I ask how many are new here today? Oh, wonderful. And how, just shout out how you heard about it.
Referral from a friend.
Referral from a friend.
I sought you out.
She sought us out. Whoa, that's a good one. Are you a stalker? In a good way. Maybe in a good way. How did you hear about it?
Just online. I don't know how.
It just came to you.
The door was open and I wandered in.
Okay, so see, we take, and you.
I came up on my meetup.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, the meetup groups. So every month we meet on the fourth Tuesday of every month, and we meet in this library room, and we ask that if you could please park below rather than above, because the library opens at 11 and they like their library patrons to come in as well as us. So, let's see this very important little thing here. Everybody read that. Donations, and Corian's going to tell us why this is particularly important today.
We are a volunteer-driven, community-based organization, so nobody's paid a thin dime for their work here, and we have to pay for expenses.
Not even a penny.
So the room is one expense. Another part of it is having a website. So we just had the web hosting bill come due for the next 2 years of web hosting, and when a bill for $200 some odd comes due, we spent all our money on the holiday party, which was our goal, which is what we wanted to do, but it means this time of the year our coffers are really thin. So if anybody here is a multi-millionaire, Jim Britt, feel free to go deep into your wallet and find a 10 or 20, or you have $1,000 bills still, I imagine, Jim. But please consider donating $5, $10, whatever you can do, because that's going to help cover what it takes to make this organization happen.
We really appreciate it. We need it every month to keep going because, again, we don't even make a penny. Do you have a penny? No, you don't carry any. So anybody have any wins that they have come across by using information either from NCO or just out on the internet? What's been going on with you guys?
So wins are questions. If you have something that you've done in the last month or so related to internet marketing that worked, or something you're seeing results from, we'd like to hear about it.
Oh, there's got to be some. All right.
Rachel, you're going to hand it up first.
Sorry.
She's right behind you.
So for the past few months, I've been organizing an event up in Tahoe called Startup Weekend Tahoe, where you take a weekend to start a business with a team of people. And we thought that if we could get 25 people to come, that the event would be a huge success. So we've almost sold out on our tickets, and we've done it through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all sorts of social media, and word of mouth. So we're super excited. And that's March 7th through 9th. Still a few tickets left.
So what is Startup Weekend?
Give us a little more information.
It's basically a weekend to start a business. So you come with an idea that you haven't put too much thought into yet, form a team, and at the end of the weekend you present your business idea to a group of judges. And whether you win or not, perhaps you have a brand new company moving forward.
Great.
If you have questions, you can ask.
Yes.
I'll be here.
I'm Dixie Procopio, and I recently found score.com and have been connected with some men that are helping me. And one is at Yuba College, and they're going to help me with my book, everything I need, pro bono. It's a wonderful organization, and it's for small businesses.
We have a score man here.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, yeah, he's one.
He's one of them.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. For those who don't know what SCORE is, Bob, just tell us a little bit about SCORE real quickly.
Again, we're strictly volunteers. There's about 14,000 of us in the United States. And the criteria for becoming a volunteer is you had to own your own business or been in the executive level of a corporation, hopefully both. And most of us are retired. We do have a lot of people still working, and they help us out. But it's probably the most gratifying thing that all of us have ever done, is giving back and trying to save people that are starting up or are in business from making the same mistakes that we make. Basically that.
Score.org,
Thank you.
S-C-O-R-E.
Well, we, locally, it'd be sacramento.score.org.
Okay, all right.
Same thing, really.
Yes, the question over here.
Bob, I believe that you're the same Bob who's forwarded that left me 2 messages, which I think is a really good positive note yesterday. So I returned the call to probably you, Bob. Talk to your wife. When you get home, I'll call you.
Good. Or I'll call you the third time.
Sounds good. I'll get you my card.
And that's what happens in NCO, it's a collaborative collective of people who are helping each other to get forward in many different ways. And I see our other Machin just stepped in. If you want to say anything, Machin, you can, or you can say something later.
Something later.
Something later is what he's going to say.
So let's do another, yeah.
Can I say something now as the
Yeah.
registrar?
Say it.
I want to say thank you, all these great new people that have found us various ways. I also want to make sure you know that you can find us on Meetup, and that's how you register, so you will be on the list. I also heard from a number of people today that you went on to Meetup and you tried to click the button to RSVP and nothing happened. And I was thinking that it might be good to take 2 minutes, maybe of the next meeting or the one following, and just put up maybe a guided tour on how to make sure that you're registered for Meetup using the site, because I hear this time and time again. And so it's probably some small little technical thing, or,
And it might be a meetup glitch. I have another
And
meetup
it could
group,
be a
and
meetup glitch.
that happens as well.
but it would be, since I'm hearing it repeatedly, it leads me to believe that a little coaching might be of good use and service to you as our members. So I'll leave that up to you guys, because you're the technical people.
Okay, and I like, if you want to, we'll ask your question. Let me just go ahead and get that set up. I can take a moment to do that right now.
And while he's doing that, hold on just a second, Will. We have two websites. We have meetup.com, ncomeetup.com, and then we have our Nevada County Online website, where all of the videos, like what Nick is doing right here, are hosted, and they're also on NCTV. So if somebody misses a meeting, you can go back and look at it in many other ways. And we also have a Facebook page. So our group, so you guys can go in and put stuff on the Facebook group, and you get some interesting ideas out of that.
So let's start out with the basics.
On this point, I've had this for several months in a row. You go to this website, you can't find what the current thing is unless you go to calendar. And that's not obvious, that you have to go.
Let me walk through a couple of the basic steps. I don't want to take too much time, because I definitely don't want to get into Barbara's time, because she's got a lot to share with us today. So the first thing you need to know is that our Meetup website is meetup.com/Nevada County Online. That's how you get to this page. Our website is nevadacountyonline.com, which has a link to this page. First thing, if you are new to Meetup, you can create a membership, but the key thing here is if you log in and then join us. So if I click on join us now, first thing it's going to ask me to do is to log in directly to Meetup. So let me go ahead and do that.
Big address, I think he's going to do.
Your keyboard is just one off.
It is one off, yeah. It shifts just a little bit, enough to mess them up.
And Will, in response to your question, when you look at the main home page, you will see in the middle, it has kind of in bold letters, marketing 3.0.
I never find it on mine.
You never find, I don't know how you don't do that.
So let's keep working through it. And some of this troubleshooting stuff, clearly we're not going to be able to solve everybody's problems here, but I will go through some basic steps. So now you can see that I'm logged in. There's me logged in. It's showing my picture there, so it knows it's me. If I was not a member of this group, so say if I was into chess, and I found a meetup, let's see what I can find. Sacramento Chess Meetup, sure. I want to go in a new group. You see that the first thing it does, it says join us. So that's step one, is click on the button that says join us, make sure you're a member. Probably everybody here has done that, some of the newbies, maybe not. Then from there, if you're on the main page of our site, typically the most current meetup will be listed on the middle of the page, and then it will have a tab for past meetups or calendar. So from here, I'm going to click on the description for today's topic, Marketing 3.0. And in the top right-hand corner, you can see that my RSVP is yes. If I hadn't yet RSVP'd, there would be an RSVP button up at the top there. That should be all it takes to do that, but if you have additional questions, let us know. Yeah.
Okay, I know I signed up, I remember creating a logon and a password when I first came here a year ago, and I get the meetup, they send me things for meetup every week. And so when I saw, we're Nevada County Online coming up, and I was able to attend this month, I went, it took me to the page, it said RSVP, I clicked on it, and it didn't tell me anything. So
you need to log in. So that's one of the things, is that if you're not logged in, you may experience those errors. So that was what my first step was there, is to make sure I'm logged in. And then it should work from there. But the idea is that if you're on that page, meetup.com/Nevada County Online, go directly to the meetup that you're looking at. From there, it should have a meetup button, RSVP.
Well, no, it did have it, it's just it wouldn't let me, I didn't have to log in, it went, I found the meetup page, and it said RSVP, for today's meeting. I clicked on it, and I didn't see, it didn't, it's like it didn't do anything. So I don't know if it's my browser.
And that's what we're kind of hearing, is that there could be some other things going on. I definitely don't have time to talk about clearing the cookies in your browser and doing other stuff like that.
Okay.
So let us know if that continues to be an issue, and Laura could be somebody who could potentially help you out with that. One of the things that I'd suggest, if you were my consulting client, is doing a screen share with somebody and saying, hey, can you look over my shoulder and see what I'm trying to do? Is this really broken? So yeah.
I found I had two logins. I have to be logged in, join Meetup to get the list. But then I have to also sign up for each individual meetup. So there are actually two, and maybe people are missing the second one, that they have to join the group.
There you go. And that's what I was demonstrating with that chess club. I'm not a member, so it said join us. That would be step one. So let's move past the technical, bureaucratic portion of the meeting. I want to take a moment just talking about the mission statement of this group. Susie touched upon it. It is a volunteer-driven group. We meet once a month here at the Madeline Howley Library on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. That would be now. And we have an internet marketing speaker or a marketing speaker come in every month. So the first thing I would like to ask from you as the members of this organization, if you have a recommendation for either a speaker that could come and present to the group, or a business that has had some success with internet marketing that we could work with to do a case study. We've occasionally had case studies, and they've been oftentimes the most informative things that we've done, when you can see, oh, that person started exactly where I'm at now, knowing nothing about this, and they made it work. So there's always success stories out there. Please talk to me directly. My name is Coryon. You can reach me by email at coryon, C-O-R-Y-O-N, @gmail.com. So along the lines of being an inclusive membership-based group, we have a membership committee, which is basically volunteers. They're called leaders, but they're really just volunteers. We're meeting today after the meeting at Susie Daggett's house. So if you are not a stalker, please consider talking to us and letting us know that you might want to take on a role as part of the leadership group. There's always work to be spread around. So that said, I think we did introductions, who we are, and it's probably talking about who the heck are you? And I can talk to Barbara like that because she allows me to come to her Sacramento State classes and give guest lectures where I can curse. Because if I'm in front of you guys, I gotta be like, somebody might not have heard these words.
No.
He's quite a potty mouth.
We know that.
Well, it's something that finding out that was the way to connect with these kids, and they really have had great feedback from me about that experience. And I just want to ask you guys mind if I? Never mind.
Last time and he did it more. It's a,
Well, we asked the class first. That was her first thing. I said, do you mind if I curse in here? And she just turned to the class and said, what do you guys think? A bunch of college kids. Yay! Curse it up! So I met Barbara originally because she is a member of the Sierra Business Development Corporation, an incredible...
so that's SEDCorp, but I was connected to them, so that's how I heard of you first. But
Sorry.
Small Business Development Centers.
Sorry. Wrong
It's
one.
okay.
Small Business Development Center. There's so many acronyms out there. So the small SBDC is what I refer to as. I just wanted to do the first part. So SBDC is an incredible resource where, similar to SCORE, you can get help with your business pro bono from qualified experts, people that are active in the field in a variety of areas. So I've worked with Barbara quite a few times with marketing. Barbara's also, so you've been involved with SBDC for 15 years.
More, yeah, but
More,
we're just rounding it down to 15.
She is a marketing consultant and a professor at Sacramento State. She specializes in her topic that she'll be covering today, which is Marketing 3.0. The basic concept there is working to educate, inform, and understand your audience, and having a focus towards sharing your expertise, sharing your skills, sharing what you can, and using that ability and that trust that you build with your market to eventually get hired and get paid lots of money. So along that line, let me introduce Barbara Reed.
This is a big group, and I don't know anybody here, really. Usually, when I come up here, because I have been with the Small Business Development Center for more than 15 years, and we do consult up here, all the way down from Sacramento up here, and this tends to be my beat, down mostly towards Auburn. And usually, when I come to groups like this, there's a few people I know. So other than you, I don't think anybody else, as I know. Okay, and it's impressive you got this many people here. Thanks for inviting me up here. Been hearing about this group for a while. We're talking about marketing more generally today. Marketing 3.0 is a catchy title, yes, and it comes from a book by Philip Kotler. He actually wrote the textbook for my marketing textbook when I got my MBA. So he is a guru of marketing. And I use this as one of my lectures in my marketing classes. I started doing that just a couple of years ago because they asked me to teach a marketing management class, and that's to seniors. And the marketing management class is different than a marketing 101 where you give all the basics. With marketing management, you step it up a little bit. You want to have some more, you want to figure out what's new and what's interesting. So I say, Phil, from marketing 101 to this class, how can I make this, what's new, what's changed? How can I tell them more than I told them in 101? So I'm looking through for resources for that, and I came across this. And what I liked about it is that it explained something that I had noticed that I was wondering about in marketing. Because marketing has changed quite a lot in the last few years, in the last year, certainly in the last decade. You've noticed this, I assume? Okay. And it's changing really quickly. And I hadn't quite, I really had the old marketing down, and then it was all this change. How do I actually put this in it? How do I make sense of all these changes? Mostly having to do with technology and online marketing. And do the old rules apply? Or is everything different now? Or is it really just all online? Is it all social media? And that's what students would normally think, especially, 20-somethings. They would say, oh, well, you don't really need that. Now you just need Facebook. But it turns out the rules have not changed so much, but it has evolved, and this helped me make sense of it. It also helped me make sense of something that I was noticing a lot in the community. I actually live in Meadow Vista, but I'm more connected probably to the Auburn community. And some of my friends there were working on some projects, like buy local projects. I know that buy local is a big deal up here too, right? And something about that was puzzling me. It does make sense to me that you would want to buy local for produce and that sort of thing, because transportation costs and freshness, that all makes sense. But then there's a push to buy local too for merchants. And that makes sense too, for a number of reasons. But it wasn't being posed as something that made sense just because you're supporting the community. It was posed sort of as a moral choice to me. I was hearing that it was better to buy from somebody next to you than it is to buy from somebody far away. Do you get that feeling too? But really, why is that? Is that true? Is it better? Is it more moral? Is it a better choice to buy from somebody in your community than it is to buy from somebody, say, from India? You think? You don't have to raise hands.
I'd say it's a small world, and it's a brother and sisterhood worldwide, and commerce is everywhere. So why shortchange yourself? Share the trade worldwide.
Worldwide. But don't you get the sense, though, when people say buy local, that, I mean, you should do the right thing and you should buy from your neighbor?
No.
You don't?
Absolutely
Well, I was getting that. I was getting that feeling, because, like, there was a buy local campaign in Auburn, and...
Pay more when you buy local a lot of times.
Okay.
You keep blinders on, and it's small-mindedness.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but there's the other side of that coin in terms of not only you're supporting, local businesses so that sort of the regional economy continues to thrive, but you're actually, and I guess this could, moral is a very interesting word for this, but you also look at it as you're supporting your neighbors, because your neighbors are small business owners. You're supporting your schools, which of course is a linchpin of the health of the community, because the more tax dollars that are in our local community, the better our schools do.
So there are economic reasons for this, and so, yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to say too, the more educated that you are too, you realize that you know what's local, you know where it comes from, but when you're talking through the NAFTA, CAFTA and all of that, then you're talking devastation of rainforests on certain products.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these unknown results coming from what we're buying from.
So there are lots of reasons that it can be good to buy local for various things, and some of them are better for the environment or better for the community. But I was hearing this sense, yeah, go ahead.
It's almost like that buy local theme is to create sort of a family.
Yes.
Community.
Yes. A community. All right. So you're all nicely leading me into my point here.
Isn't this what outsourcing is all about?
Creating community?
Creating community. Oh, well, I was having at the same time, I was having an issue. I was donating some time to a group that creates schools in other countries, and they were wanting people to donate money to support schools in other countries. Meanwhile, our funding for local schools was not doing well. So I said, how are we going to make that argument that we should be donating to these other places when our own community isn't doing well? So anyway, this helped explain to me why people are feeling that moral is sort of an interesting choice, but that was the sense I was getting. Why people feel that it is better to buy local, even though each person, whoever they are anywhere in the world, has equal value. So it's not really better. It's not better for me to support you because you're in my community than it is to support somebody in India. But this explained why there's that desire to support local in some ways. And then as I got into it, it explained a lot more. And I actually it explained the transformation that marketing's been going in, and business in general, for the last several years. I use it a lot actually with my consulting clients through the Small Business Development Center. And at first I thought they were going to laugh at me, or they were going to say, oh, you're such a Pollyanna. Marketing isn't really about getting to the punchline, about connecting to your community and living and running your businesses based on values and purpose and all of that. It's really about making money, because in the 80s when I went to business school, that's what I was taught. Business is about making money, and that's what it is, and don't pretend that it's something else. But it turns out that it is about something else now also. It has evolved into a place now where people expect their businesses to act on principles, to support their community, and to make the world a better place. And that's good for business. All right, so let me just kind of take you through how all this happened and how you can use this. So, Marketing 3.0, that's catchy, because it begs the question then, you mean there's a Marketing 3.0 and I've been doing Marketing 2.0 all this time? So what was it? History of marketing, of course, started in industrial age. That was Marketing 1.0, and that's Ford, where he'll create any kind of car you want as long as it's black. All right, so there was shortage of goods and people wanted, there was a lot of demand. So that's 1.0. But then we got into more of the information age more recently, and marketing actually shifted to be more emotional. So it used to be just functional. It's a car, it runs, it's transportation. And then it became more about Cheerios. Cheerios are good for you, it's a food, and it also will connect you to the relatives that you love. It's about family love. Tide not only gets your clothes clean, but also it's what your mom used to use, and that smell makes you feel like you're home. So it was emotional branding. 3.0 takes it farther. It's still, you add those 1.0 and 2.0 elements, but you add more of a meaning to the brand. So you're talking about brand meaning and how is this company making the world a better place, and how does the brand create meaning for you? And also in Marketing 3.0 we have other elements. A lot to do, or because of technology primarily, it's now much more collaborative. The customer now is involved with branding, involved with brand creation, involved sometimes with product development, and it's a conversation more than I'm the advertiser or I'm the marketer and I'm just trying to blast as many ads at you as I can to hypnotize you into buying my products. Now we're having a conversation, and the consumer, to some extent, owns the brand too. This is a chart. I know you can't see that, but I'll put this on SlideShare later so you have a little bit of a summary. So what's the difference between 1.0, from 2.0 and 3.0? Marketing has always been about satisfying your customers, satisfying and retaining your customers. That's what you do. That's what you do in your business. But to that now we add that also your job as a marketer to contribute something that makes the world a better place. How did this happen? Mostly technology, which is what you're all about here. It's mostly technology. And we've had, and what we mean with 3.0 with new wave technology, is that that's now interactive. It's not just the marketer sending out information, but we're communicating back and forth. So we're forming more of a relationship. Relationships are more important than they ever have been. How companies see the market? Up to Marketing 2.0, it's minds and hearts, the product benefit and then the emotional benefit. Now it's mind, heart, and spirit. Now that word, the spirit word, is where I thought I was going to lose my students. I know I'm okay up in this territory. But it doesn't mean spirit in more of the religious sense. It means that it's about meaning. And this is sort of seen as news by a lot of businesses. I would say it's not really news, because marketing is about satisfying needs, filling needs, and solving problems for people. And in an advanced society where people mostly have the food and the water that they need, what do they really want? What do people really want in life? They want love, they want connection, they want their lives to matter, they want the way they spend their lives every day to be with a purpose of some kind. Because if not that, then what are we all doing? What's the point? So it acknowledges that people want to live in meaning, and they want their products and their companies to reflect that. All right, the key marketing concept. It's still differentiation. You want to separate your product. Why is your product or your service better or different than someone else's? It's the core thing to answer. But now it's also, and what is my company, what are my company's values? What do I stand for? Am I somebody that you would feel good about purchasing a product from? Then we have company marketing guidelines. It's always been about product and positioning. You know what I mean by positioning, product positioning? It's a core marketing concept. It's how are you positioned relative to your competitors so you stand out and you provide a solution to people's problems in a better and different way. You're positioned relative to your competition. But now it's about, and what are my values? Value propositions, functional and emotional. Now we have functional, emotional, and spiritual. And the interaction with customers, even more advanced than one-to-one, we're all tribes, we're all groups communicating with each other and networking more than we ever have. All right, so Marketing 3.0 nicely encapsulates what has happened already, and it helps us put some perspective on it, and it helps us to maybe see that we have permission to do the things that we already wanted to do with our businesses, and that we wished businesses had done. How did this happen? And it's mostly turbulence. I have a little video clip here. It may not work, we'll try, and if not, then you can just come back to it later. But if I want to incorporate these, you get the point a little bit better.
Introducing the all-veranda Viking Star.
Good video.
Okay. Now, I actually show this in class to the 20-somethings, and I know they don't know what this movie is, but I know you do, so this is for some of you will. And what's good about this is that this was an Academy Award winner, I think, and that might have been in the 70s, but it plays like it was just written. And this explains the kind of turbulence that people are feeling now. We're very unsettled in our lives. So it's because there's great shifts in technology, because we're now a global society, but we can't quite wrap our heads around the fact that we're supposed to be global citizens. What does that mean, and how do I root myself? How do I connect? Technology is, it doubles every year and a half or something. That's not actually what Moore's Law is. I was informed by a student, but it's something like that. That's where we're So technology is really increasing really quickly, and it's very hard to keep up with, and it's overwhelming. We're all feeling overwhelmed, and that's led in part to some of this. So.
Full screen. I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest, I don't want you to riot, I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being, God damn it! My life has value! So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go
on? You gotta get mad.
67.
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta. I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Okay, so that was a while ago. But it could have been today. So part of Marketing 3.0 is people saying we're not going to take this anymore. There's things that have been going on and we don't like it. The world is a global society. That's making us a little anxious. Technology is increasing really rapidly. We can't keep up. That's making us anxious. Banks aren't, there was the recession. We don't like that. Banks maybe weren't acting properly. A lot of people weren't acting properly. People weren't really stepping up to the plate. We don't like that. The environment's in trouble. We're upset with that. And so 3.0 is a statement of the fact that we want companies, we want the world, but we want companies to act responsibly, and we want them to participate in the solution, and we want them to do better. So the sources of all of those. Technology, mostly. Consumer empowerment led by technology. Consumer empowerment means that now if we want to search for a product or a service, we don't have to go shop to shop to shop. We can go online, compare prices. We can look at reviews. If somebody hasn't been acting, if someone's put on a product that isn't doing what it's supposed to, people talk about it. We can say what we like in terms of product development, so we have lots of more power than we used to. Competition. We not only as business people have to compete with our community, people in our community, we have to compete with everybody in the world. Well, that's upsetting. That can make you stressed. And then emerging powers. It used to be that US was the only game in town. The only real game in town. And we know that's not necessarily so now. There's China, there's emerging powers, there's India, there's Russia, and China and India have 4 times the number of people that we do, and they have a whole swarm of engineering schools, and so what are we going to do about that? And then environmental awareness too. That we're reaching a point where we're seeing that there are some problems with that might cause not only economic damage, but human damage in terms of the environment. It's pollution and warming, etc. Then the other area is corporate and government distrust. We watched some companies maybe not behaving the way that they should have been. Enron, where their investors, their 401k people found that they no longer had any money and people were cooking the books. WorldCom. Banks in the economic crisis. And so companies really were not acting in our best interest. And as Stephen Covey says, that trust is the lifeblood of an organization as it is in a country. And then new economic conditions. We have a recession, or we had a recession. We're not in a recession now. But I don't really need to elaborate on that, lack of jobs and recession. So all of these things are causing us to feel very unsteady. Expanding on technology, we all have access now to broadband, or most of us do, and it's fairly affordable. That makes competition really easy for small businesses, and it's changing very quickly. Consumer empowerments, we now participate and collaborate. Participation and collaboration is a theme in Marketing 3.0 and something that you want to think about in your businesses, that you're not in this business alone. You're in it with your customers now. They're your partners essentially. And you want to invite them in as sort of your tribe, as your people that you're going to work with. And the globalization paradox. So I mentioned a while ago that, and in beginning this conversation. So why is it important to buy local? And is that of moral value or better value? Is it better to do that or not? And why wouldn't we just as equally buy from somebody else? Well, we're pushed to be a global citizen more and more. We have no choice because we're in global competition. All right, and you're also going to source from global places or parts and other sorts of things. And you're going to be aware of the world. But trying to be aware and keep track of the whole world is pretty overwhelming. So when they're sort of pushed, do you feel that anxiety? Do you feel that we're larger and larger? Does anybody sense that? Yeah, and how do you wrap your head around that? So you're not alone. Most people are feeling that that is overwhelming. And I have a friend who works in a company called Polarity, and they deal with business terms in terms of opposites. It's like that, the physics, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So the more we're pushed to be global citizens, the more we cling to local, the more we cling to be our communities. And that's coming circle from where we started with that discussion of why is there push for local? One of the reasons, apart from the many reasons why it makes sense, one of the reasons is we are creatures who need to grab onto to our groups. We don't feel safe. If you're not in your group, you're not safe. You're dead. Out in the wild long ago, you weren't with your herd, your pack, then you were in trouble. So when we're pushed in to be global citizens, we have to consider all of them as our pack. We can't do that. Our brains can't function. And our opposite reaction is to cling to our local communities. So that helped me understand, this is where this whole thing started for me, that helped me understand why people were grasping so much for local community connection. Then we have the age of creativity, and I've kind of thrown this part in there. I don't know that it's exactly in the book, but there's this guy called Richard Florida, wrote The Age of, wrote The Age of Creativity, I think is the name of the book. Have you heard of him? But he had some interesting ideas, and he said that the problems that we've faced in the last centuries were more of the kind that you could deal with just your, let's see, it's left brain is right hand, right? This is the logical side. Okay, you could deal with more left brain problems. You could create technology to solve problems. So the problems now are so complex, and we're also so an advanced civilization, an advanced society, that we need to have full brain approaches to it. And the people who were going to be succeeding most were those people in those communities that embraced full left brain, right brain thinking. That they were not only going to know the technical aspects of things, but they were also going to take their innovative and creative talents to bear upon problems. And those communities, he actually looks at it in terms of communities, and he identifies communities that foster these sorts of things, foster innovation and creativity. And a couple of places, like San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, those are the ones he says are going to grow the fastest in the coming decades. All right, so we're in a age of creativity, and we need to be whole brain thinkers. Elaborating just a little bit on participation and collaboration, you talk about this all the time, but we have ways that we can express ourselves through social media, Twitters, blogs, and Instagrams. But there's also participation technology, collaborative social media, where we work in teams like Wikipedia, and nobody thought that would ever work. A business model for that was thought ridiculous, of course, really. People are just going to contribute content for our website for free, and it's going to be good. No, you have to pay people to do that, right? Microsoft was busy creating something similar.
In cartoon.
Yes. But as we all know, it works. And then open business model. All right, so just convincing you that participation and collaboration is part of this 3.0 thing. Okay, now where are we with marketing? So the model in marketing has been I'm a company, and I'm going to advertise to you. So I am going to blast my ads to you over and over and over until I've hypnotized you into submission and buying my products. That doesn't work anymore. Because we can talk to each other, and we can form our own opinions, and we can share ideas, and we're more likely to be influenced by each other than we are by marketers.
There's always the exceptions to, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, you know, all I have to do is say 2 words, wipe on, right? The migraine medicine, and when they did those unbelievably annoying mass advertising campaign,
yes,
their sales absolutely skyrocketed, absolutely skyrocketed. All they did was blast the TVs with wipe on, and they said that 12 times.
Head on.
In one,
Head on.
Head on, that's right. 12 times, but
And I know
it's
exactly what you
migraine
mean.
medicine.
And you make a good point. So I should say that, not that that doesn't work anymore, but that's only part of the formula now. And actually that was something that was bothering me too, that I had to figure out, because the students, of course, were saying it's only about social media now, you don't really need any other marketing but that. I said, well, is that true? Have all the rules changed in just 2 years? Everything I learned now is all garbage.
But isn't that true though for market segmentation? If you're trying to reach under 30, how much more do you have to do?
There's a purpose still for everything that we used before. It's just that this is now added to the mix, and you have to approach it a little bit differently. I can put it in context here. I don't know if I have it here, but towards the end, if you want, I can show you how I figured that out. Because I had to figure out I had that exact problem. I had to figure out for myself, how am I going to, I have to figure it out so I can explain it to them. So I think I have it. We'll get to that later. So top-down is not, top-down mass communication, yes, it's still used, but that's not the game in town that's getting most of the attention. And it's not as effective as it used to be. Marketing managers can't control their branding and their positioning, which doesn't mean they shouldn't still do branding and positioning. It just means they have to do it with full authenticity, and they can't speak out of both sides of their mouths because people know it. And they have to initially shape what they want, how they want people to think about their brands, but they can't control it after that. Consumers own the brands. People are creating the news and consuming, people, and creativity is a driving force of the economy.
Can I just ask a question though? How does a company like Walmart, who has had such bad press, you know, lots of people have talked badly about them, you know, things have been spotlighted about them, you know, like the high cost of low prices, even a documentary about them, and, you know, and yet they're going gangbusters.
Right, and that's a good question. So if all these values are really what people want, how are companies that some people see as
corporate economic giant, and they've fooled everybody so much. They have so
But
much power.
corporations
They have
they're-
so much power, it doesn't matter.
No, their lifeblood is money. Their lifeblood, their blood is money.
Yes.
I think because the people who have the ability to care about these kinds of things are in an economic situation, at least in the middle class and above. Walmart's target audience is lower middle class, poor people who can't afford to go anywhere else.
It's all about price point.
And it's all about price point, I think. I mean,
Actually, it's get complicated. I need to be done by 12:15, right? All right.
You go to 12:20, this is good.
All right. There's a couple of different things happening there. And one has to do with psychology and it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I don't know if we should go there. But we'll see. Part of it is because sometimes Walmart actually, in terms of environmentalism, in terms of, in certain areas, they're a 3.0 company. Because their trucks cost about $100,000 a year in gasoline, they teamed with Peterbilt to create a truck that was more aerodynamic and used less gasoline. It's more fuel efficient. They also lead in solar energy utilization in organizations. The prices are low, and you could argue that they don't treat their employees well. People do argue that. But also, there's enough people who are willing to buy that product to sustain that. So it's not that you're all or nothing, that you're all values or you're nothing, and it's not that everything has shifted. It's just more and more you see companies focusing on values and being ethical, and it's helping them. It doesn't mean that we've all changed all instantly.
Well, one thing that they did do brilliantly, which is to capture the older group, older audience, is they opened up their parking lots to RVs at night, so that you can park
See,
at a
there's things
Walmart.
like that, and we don't all have the same opinion about what's ethical or what isn't ethical. Okay.
On the East Coast.
And it's not an all or nothing, this is just the trend that we're going, and where I'm gonna get, in case we get towards the end and I don't get to my ultimate point, is that we all want to live lives of meaning, we all want our businesses to be about meaning, we want to live in purpose, but we're always been told that that doesn't make you money. More and more, that does make you money. That also is the smart thing to do from a business standpoint, because this is what consumers want. And they want this more than they used to because of all of this turbulence, because of all these things that have been going on. Okay. Oh, globalism and paradoxes. I think this part's interesting. So we said that as much as we're pushed to be a global society, we're equally pushed to connect locally, connect with each other. We're also confused because capitalism used to be the path to success, the only path to success. And when you see other countries like China and those who are not pure democracies, because we're not a pure democracy either, but when you see that happening, it's confusing to us. We were told that that's how you're successful, so how are they doing all right? Surely they're going to crumble at any moment, but no, they're not.
They have capitalism. There's more millionaires in China than there's in America.
Yes. But that's confusing, because we thought we had it figured out. We thought that we were the game in town, and we're not. Economic advancement has not equalized income. That has confused us a little bit too. So, and you see this in our country, but you see this in China and Russia and India, that those who are the most wealthy are not necessarily pulling everybody up with them. And that's happening everywhere. And that's a problem. And we also have a lot more diversity in our culture, which is a wonderful thing if you want creative solutions, but it also is challenging. Cultural marketing. So globalization creates this global culture, punchline again, at the same time strengthening local culture. So we have strong global culture, strong local culture as themes. And that leads us to this idea of tribalism. I know in all of your speakers you talk about creating tribes probably to some extent. So in social marketing, social media marketing, and your objective is to engage your customer with your products and your solutions and great content online and other places, and to tell a wonderful story and to form a relationship with them, and you form a relationship with enough customers, and you create a tribe, a following that all based in what you believe and care about and your product and the benefits. So we have globalism on one hand and an equally strong push to create our small tribes and our small communities, our pods of people who are our people, our herd. And the number for that people, are you familiar with Malcolm Gladwell?
Yeah.
Yes. So tipping point number, right? The tipping point number of 150. So that 150, that magic number where you can have intimacy in groups where people feel concerned about each other. But if you go above 150, this is why it's a tipping point number, you go above 150, then it gets, people start to become disconnected and they no longer can function really as a unit. The reason it's 150 is because that's as much as our brain can handle. And it's a useful tipping point number also, as an aside. Richard Branson, a Virgin Mobile, Virgin Atlantic, and Virgin Mobile too, the whole empire. He creates business units only of sizes up to 150. When the employees in that group gets over 150, he breaks it up because he understands that the communication and intimacy amongst that group, concern for each other, is important to success. So anything over 150 has to be broken up. Anyway, tribes of 150 who have 150, each has 150 friends. That creates tipping points. I have some links in here that are for fun, and I think I won't do most of them today because we're in time, as realization of time. Okay, so we know that globalization leads to a greater awareness of local connection. People are more concerned about connection in general. Companies now are competing, and that's a good word, competing to be seen as providing continuity and connection and direction. You see that with branding. Products trying to hook you in more emotionally and tell you that they have better corporate social responsibility than this other guy. So everybody's trying to kind of raise their hand. We're really good. We're the best ones. We all know Clorox. Everybody's touched a bottle of that in their lives, right? So not a particularly, you wouldn't think of that as a 3.0 company, really, would you? Offhand. Just as in many examples, they hired former owner of Coca-Cola years ago, and they started this whole strategy to become more progressive. They realized they're a bleach company, and people have concerns about that, maybe environmentally, and they needed to be more, not just kind of the boring old bleach company, but they needed to be a little more progressive. So they bought Burt's Bees, which is the model for culture, a company based on culture and social responsibility. They licensed Brita filters, and then they started a campaign with we can save water bottles if we do that. And then they launched Greenworks. So, and all those products, that segment of products actually makes them about 1/10 profit of their bleach, but they're investing heavily in those because they realize that that's what people want.
Does that mean they're going to phase out actually selling bleach, which is still environmentally?
No, what they're doing
it's just one front. They're fronts. I mean, they are fronts.
Well, no, not necessarily, because you could also make the argument that if you're in a place where you have disease spreading, I'd rather have bleach than Greenworks sprayed on it. So there's applications for these things, but they just have to figure out how to use it in a way that's appropriate and in
Right,
context.
so you think that they are slowly just going to be segmenting that, and then they're...
I don't know what they're going to be doing. They have tried to make it smell better. They've done some product introductions. But in our classes, because that's a case study we do, the Clorox, this is what we think that they're going to be doing. That they need to be doing is putting everything in context in its ideal place.
Yeah, I'm getting a little confused about, you're saying that Clorox is a 3.0 company. And to me, it seems like marketing is to raise awareness of products and companies and how they're formed. Let's say, what I think you're talking about is like triple bottom line companies and how consumers are influencing what the actual companies are doing. But really, marketing is right here, and it's just spinning how to sell the product better without anything to back it up. Just like Cheerios doesn't really give you more family, or the smell doesn't really do anything. It's just, unless the company is actually authentic, the marketing and how they're positioning themselves is just, it's greenwashing, or it's just fluff and another way to sell shitty products. So they're not really a 3.0, maybe marketing tactics are 3.0,
right,
but it doesn't make the company 3.0.
And this is all on a continuum. And that's a part of the confusion too, is that you want to have different contexts. I see marketing as the core element of the company. That is the company because it's what the company is. What's the identity of the company, and it covers everything that that company does. Marketing to me is identity.
Yeah, I disagree as well. I mean, I think that that's part of what technology has done for us as consumers, is we can look behind the curtain now.
Yes.
We never used to. So marketing 2.0 and 1.0, we did not have the tools to be able to say, you know what, that's just talk, that's not reality.
Well, actually, we're not disagreeing, because part of this, I haven't gotten to my authenticity slide yet, but the ones who do this most successfully are those who do it in full authenticity, because as you say, if they don't, they get caught, and then they've lost it.
I just want to say, it's really interesting that Burt's Bees is a subsidiary of Clorox, because just the other day, I hate going to CVS, but I had to for something. And I was looking and I thought, wow, they have a huge Burt's Bees display, and it used to just be in the health food store. So this explains why it's everywhere now. So
It does.
to
It all
answer
makes
my
sense.
question.
When you hear all of these things, it all starts to make sense.
Was it next to the Clorox?
No.
There was a guy who invented a patch, an herbal patch that you put on your temples that took away your headache. And he was all excited because Johnson & Johnson bought it up, and he thought they were going to distribute it as an herbal alternative to aspirin. But Johnson & Johnson makes aspirin, so what they did is they took his product and shelved it so they could just continue to sell aspirin.
I think your presentation is very thought-provoking. Many of the audience do as well.
Oh, yes.
I love to hear the end of the lecture.
We have 10 minutes. Let me get to the points. Okay. Let's see. All right, so implications of 3.0 in general. We want solutions to, people are anxious, so people want solutions from their companies to their anxieties to make the globalized world a better place. So part of your job now as a marketer, as an organization, is to show that you're connected to your community, that you're contributing to your society, because that's what customers want. Because they're very anxious and they're looking to everywhere for a solution, and their companies and their products and where they buy things is part of that solution, part of where they're looking to have that. So our fundamentals are still the same. Positioning, I could do a whole sequence on that. Branding and differentiation is important. All we've done is evolve it now, so we're adding the meaning element. This has to do with Richard, Florida. And I think I'm not going to go on, that's another sort of a tangent. I'm going to go past this one.
Now you stand our heads.
Well, actually, this is sort of relevant. I use this a lot in consulting, hierarchy of needs, because marketing's about filling needs, business about filling needs. And so what do people really want? You can use this diagram to help you understand as a model of what people really want. People always turn on the other way. They start with food and water and shelter and all of that, and then they want meaning and social connection, and then they want self-actualization. But many people are now saying that people love real passion and commitment, and those who live more in meaning start more from this end. This is something I think about a lot, actually, Viktor Frankl. And is meaning really what people want, or is it really about the money? So Viktor Frankl was in World War II. He was a psychologist, and he had written a book, got captured by Nazis, went to a concentration camp, and the way he said he survived was by rewriting his book in his brain every day. And he says, it's actually Nietzsche says that, but Frankl pulled it from him in Man's Search for Meaning, one of the 10 most influential books, supposedly, of all time, is that man can endure any what if he knows a why. So business, everything. Business and marketing, it's just like everything else, it's a reflection of life in general. We all just want why. Okay, summary. Look, I'm right even on time. Okay, so what is Marketing 3.0? What are the implications? It's about participation and collaboration with your customers. You're now It's your job, using technology and other means, to form a relationship more with your customers, have a dialogue with them, and talk authentically. Collaborate with them also in product design and other things. They're a great resource for you. Globalization is important, selling globally, competing globally. But as strong as the push is to do that, you have to also recognize that that strong is equally, that trend is equally important locally, to form that local connection. So connection with each other in community is stronger than ever, and it's a real thing. Spirit. Companies need to create value through meaning, not just through product benefits anymore, but also meaning through corporate social responsibility. And that is a profitable way to go. Everything's changed, value-driven. I think I've made my point there. And there's my authenticity. Okay. Authenticity. It's not just PR. Because as you said, if it's just PR and if you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth, now we all can talk, we can tell on you. And we'll know it. So there are companies who are doing it fully authentically. Mission, vision, and values are important in companies. There's a whole Dilbert cartoon book about mission statements. Because mostly if you read mission statements, it could have been written by anybody, any company. If it's but now companies are focusing on that because really what is our core purpose? And we expect our employees and our culture to be driven by that. And that leads to excellence. So they're spending time on mission statements and vision statements and deciding what their values are. After here, from here on, I just have examples as we have time. Patagonia, this is not news to Patagonia, see? They're more involved in this 3.0, but then they started about 50 years ago. And Yves Chenard, I think that's his name, he consults to other companies on how to be 3.0 companies. Now there's 3.0 language, just want to throw in a couple of things, because just this last year I finally heard the word 3.0 on media, and it was Vivek Ranadi talking about bringing the kings to, or buying the kings, and how they were going to be a 3.0 company. I think he meant technology more, but still it applies. And that they were going to be connecting with other 3.0 companies that were involved in participation and collaboration and customers, corporate social responsibility, and forming relationships with their customers. So he started talking about a whole community of 3.0 companies, making their community a better place. So it's entered the mainstream. I think when it comes to Sacramento and we start talking about it, it's working its way this way. So I will post this on SlideShares, and there's example after example of companies that are doing this. The case studies are interesting.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Martha. That was really informative. And thank you for the community for the lively discussion and also getting to the end of the presentation. So we'll do both. The presentation will be on Nevada County Online, so we'll embed that SlideShare. We do have PowerPoint presentations for previous meetups that we've had. We also have a video camera here. The presentation for last month's meetup has been a little delayed because there's a transition right now that'll be posted soon. And we'll have the video for this presentation posted as well. Can I invite Machen to come up to the front of the room here? Machen of Pro Brilliance Institute is our sponsor for this month.
Yeah. Everybody's card in here? Quick.
So what you put your card in for is tomorrow SedCorp is putting on a workshop that I'm teaching on business planning, how to build a business acceleration plan. It's $45, so I'm going to waive the tuition on that, and then also you'll get access to an online tool that we've created to create your business plan. And typically that goes for $500. You'll get free access to that if you win this.
Ooh.
And it covers a lot about what we talked about, how to figure out what your true value is, what your your hierarchy of values really are, how to identify your ideal client so that you can speak that message to those people and really hit them based upon what they do want. We buy what we want, not what we need, and when we understand that, and can speak to the limbic system of the brain rather than the neocortex of the brain, we have a lot more success in getting through to people. So that's what you're learning tomorrow if you have a chance to get there.
Would you like to pull a lucky person? Better not be me, right?
Corey, you might learn something new.
I would love to have access to the tool, but I've got my work days filled tomorrow. Should I put my card back in and give you guys
Don't
another
put it
shot?
back in.
I think we should be excluded.
I think the other trend you had as well.
All right, let's see. Susie, no, Karen Mendelson. I'll give you that, and then if you just, I'll get you contact information, and I'll give you the links for that online tool.
Thank you.
So guys, we have about 10 minutes before we have to be completely out the door.
I mean, we mean completely, because another group comes in.
You know what you got there? I can't see what that is.
Oh, yes.
This is, just real quick, everyone, if anybody has a business that serves online, is an online type business, say you're a videographer, photographer, you build a website, you're a graphic artist.
Consulting services, whatever.
Consulting services, we have a sign-up sheet back here, which you can add your name and your email, your name, phone number, and your web address, and we will include that on the NCO website under member resources.
And the reason that's really good is if you're looking for like a videographer and you go, I wonder who's out there, and then you go, wait, I could go to NCO and look at that sheet that is out there, and so sign up. And then this, what am I holding? We do need a little bit more. If anybody has an extra $5 or whatever to put in here, we really appreciate it. So I'll put it by the door and we can do it on the way out.
In the next meeting, I'm bringing a receipt book, so you'll be able to get a receipt in case you're making a cash contribution. You can write that off and keep track of your business.
We're not a nonprofit organization, so I don't think you can.
It's not a donation, it's a business expense.
Okay, got it.
I'm writing a receipt so that you can keep track of your business expenses.
Right, good deal. Okay, there you go. So give lots of money because it's a business expense.
Barbara has cards if you're interested in getting a hold of her.
And but then also the Small Business Development Center, you all have access to that, so if you need business consulting. It's complementary to SCORE, it's a different organization. And they do workshops, low-cost workshops, and then once you go through helping people with business planning, financial analysis, marketing, almost anything, SEO. Quick person. We used to be connected to Sierra College, but then it's now connected to Los Rios College in Sacramento, but we have in Ceres.
So for example, I'd meet at the Auburn Chamber of Commerce with Barbara for consulting sessions occasionally.
And there's somebody that meets up here, Dave Biswell meets at the One Stop Center.
I'll be going to Yuba College tomorrow.
They have a small business development center too. It's different than ours, but they have one.
Oh, okay.
And it's different than SCORE.
Oh.
But you could use either one or both.
Good. Hey, and I'm going to do one pitch for something I'm involved with this weekend. There's an event at the fairgrounds this weekend called the Bernal Equinox. It is a Burning Man sanctioned event with over 50 theme camps and art cars, activities. Jedi Training School will be there in case you want to wield a lightsaber. I will be teaching Jedi Training School. But if you want to find out more about that, please just do a search on Facebook, or you can connect with me on Facebook to find out more. As of yesterday, perfect timing for a volunteer-driven organization. Their main website, sackvalleyspark.org, went down. So find it on Facebook, but it's at the Nevada County Fairgrounds. The tickets are on brown paper tickets. It is $25 until Thursday ahead of time, $30 at the door. If you're Burning Man curious, if you've ever wondered what it's like for what those freaks do in the desert, this is a really good place to experience that and have a taste of the community. So we got 5 minutes to exit the building. Please I encourage you guys to do networking, discuss, whatever else. Just do it on that side of the door.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you next time.